Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. During the declared emergency in the City of Toronto, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and a provincial order limiting attendance at public gatherings. This will be a virtual public hearing, and participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx, an online event that is being moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting either by their computer, a phone or tablet app, or by telephone. All participants are automatically muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered participants will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called on to speak. For all those who are waiting online, please ensure that you have called in with the phone number that you originally registered with. If you call in with a different phone number, you will not be able to speak on the item. To ensure audio clarity, I also suggest that you refrain from using the speakerphone function on your telephones. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto was covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Alan Smithies, and I will chair today's meeting. Joining us on the panel today are Ron Hunt, Asif Khan, Paul Kidd, and Nadini Sankar Peralta. City staff are also present: Daniel Antonacci, Jenny Kotas, and Brendan Clapp. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw that apply to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the committee's decision on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, because Committee of Adjustment and the T-Lab will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, T-Lab, or in some limited circumstances to the Local Planning Appeal Tribunal. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedure is as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into the committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, is given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute limit. When addressing the committee, please state clearly your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters described in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee of the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. To ensure that a revised application is accurate, and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes, the committee may decide to defer the application if it is substantially revised. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, are invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This marks the end of discussion on the item. The application is taken to the committee for a decision. Are there any members of the committee here this morning who have any conflicts of interest they'd like to declare? Mr. Kidd?
Mr. Chair, item number 2, 6 Knightwoods Road. I'm acquainted with the agent.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, we have no files to close.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you, sir. Now proceed to the first item on our agenda. That is item number 1, 210 Churchill Avenue. I have one person registered to speak, Mr. Franco Romano. Are you there, Mr. Romano?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Franco Romano here on behalf of the owner.
Yes, thank you, sir. Mr. Romano, I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to, there's a couple of reports here. There's one from Engineering and Construction dated the 2nd of October, which basically they had no objection subject to standard consent conditions. There's also a report from City Planning dated the 11th of November 2020, and they're recommending that the application be refused. I take it, sir, you've had the opportunity to review those reports?
Yes, sir, I have reviewed those reports. I have no issue with the engineering comments, and I will, at your indulgence, respond to the planning department's
Okay,
comments.
thank you, sir. If you could give us a presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal, especially in light of the city planning's comments.
Yes, sir. If staff could assist, I have a slide presentation that I'm going to be referring to, and I'd like to get the first slide up there, which shows the site plan drawing and a number of measurements and illustrations, and then I can begin. Terrific, thank you kindly. So this property is located about 5 blocks south of Finch. It's within the first block west of Senlac Road, and the one striking element of this property is that we cannot get the entire property onto a ledger-sized piece of paper because of the size of the property. This is a property that is 1,905.5 square meters in lot area, and it is 30.62 meters at the front lot line. So what you see on the site plan is that it is an irregular shaped lot, and the front lot line actually runs at an angle. And in front of the front lot line to where one travels along the road, that boulevard is anywhere from 8 to over 10 meters wide. So it is an unusual lot, and it is at the intersection of Hazel Glen and Churchill. So there are properties both on Hazel Glen and on Churchill that have a variety of lot sizes. And I do not disagree with the planning staff comments that most of the lots along Churchill, for example, are 15 meters or greater. When we take that exact same measurement at the front lot line, you're going to see that what is being proposed is also larger than 15 meters at the front lot line. You'll see 15.31 meters for both lots. How you or I or anyone else is going to experience these two lots is by virtue of that angled condition and the expansive boulevard in front of it. So technically, under the bylaw, lot frontage is measured at right angles to the side lot lines, and that's where the 12.13 meters arises. So when we look at some of the other elements of the zoning bylaw, building depth, that too is measured parallel to the front lot line. So it's not measured from the front wall of the building to the rear wall of the building. It's measured on an angle. And what we have here is a situation where that angled condition exaggerates the actual measurements. But the buildings are constructed in a staggered fashion so that the front wall is not a straight line. There's a number of setbacks and stepbacks to it. And so is the rear wall. And right next door next door at 208 Churchill. Nope, I want to stay with slide 1. Sorry. we go back to slide 1, please. Slide 1 shows the length and depth variances for that dwelling at 208 Churchill, which is next door to the east. 19.96 meters in length, 22.58 meters in depth. Has side yards, height, first floor height, and other variances. That actual minor variance approval is not described in the planning staff report. But I think the depth and the length that's being proposed in the side yard setbacks certainly reflect and reinforce what's found in the neighborhood. The 2 lots that are being proposed are in excess. They're at least 1.5 times to almost 2 times the lot area that the zoning bylaw requires. So this is a neighborhood where, if we look at slide number 2, slide number 2 is shows the property in relation to neighboring condition, the neighboring lot fabric. One thing that you'll see is that on the subject property, I can fit in the lot frontage and the lot area onto the subject site. Everybody else on the other side of Churchill, I can't fit in the lot frontage and the lot area under the same font because their lot areas are about half the size to a third of the
10
size
seconds,
of
sir,
the
if you can
existing
summarize.
subject site. So these statistics on this map show that the proposed lot frontage does indeed fit in with the mixture and is in no way out of character with the modest lot sizes that are found in the neighborhood. If anything, the existing lot is out of character, although it is an existing lot.
Okay,
So I would
thank you,
submit
sir.
that the proposal satisfies all 4 tests and is appropriate.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Does the
welcome.
committee have any questions of the speaker? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. You know, you've said that it does meet the character or prevailing character of the neighborhood in terms of frontage, but planning, who are the experts, have actually gone through this, and they're saying that, you know, lots with a frontage less than or equal to 12.13 meters accounts for only 6% of the number of lots. And, you know, they do deem in their report a number of other very convincing statistics that, you know, counter the arguments that you've made. And so I'm looking at this right in front of me and it's not adding up. So can you please comment on that?
Certainly, I think what I was trying to explain is that lot frontage is being measured on this property from a technical nature due to the side lot being at 90 degrees to the side lot line. But the actual street line lot frontage of this property is going to be 15.3 meters. So when we compare apples to apples, as you see along Hazel Glen, there's a lot of properties with angled lot frontages. When we compare apples to apples, the proposal at 15.3 actually fits in with what the city statistics show in that staff report. And I don't believe that the staff report actually describes that. They are just looking at the number that's being proposed due to the technical interpretation of lot frontage, which is at right angles to the side lot lines, and then comparing that to the numbers that are found on the street and in the neighborhood. But this property is not a rectangle, however. So not being a rectangle, one has to account for the fact that set aside the technical lot frontage measurement, look at the actual street line lot frontage measurement. And that street line lot frontage measurement does fit in with what staff are identifying as the prevailing lot frontage of over 15 meters. And one other thing that staff do not actually discuss, because there is no variance for, is lot area. We cannot discount the fact that the proposed lot area is 1.5 times to almost 2 times the size of the minimum requirement under the zoning bylaw. And if we look up and down the street, there are lots that are in the 600s, 672, 689 square meters. That's probably the most prevailing. And the proposal is at 896 and 1,009.5 square meters. So taken together, it's my opinion that the proposed lot size does indeed fit in with what's found on the street in the neighborhood and does indeed meet what planning staff are discussing in terms of the prevailing lot size when we look at it as a whole.
Thank you. Any further questions of the speaker? Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I did my site visit, I noticed that the two easterly adjoining properties appeared to be around 12 meters. In your research, did you get any information on those properties?
Yes, slide 2 of my presentation shows that the abutting easterly property at 208 Churchill is 12.04 meters in lot frontage. And right next door to that at 202 Churchill, that is at 10.06 meters lot frontage. So those two abutting properties immediately to the east are smaller than the technical lot frontage that's being proposed, and also smaller than the actual lot frontage that's being proposed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd. Any further questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just noticed the applicant was saying that the next residence is 12 point something. Sir, did you mention during your conversation with this planning staff that this is the situation?
They are aware, I believe the city is aware of what those statistics are, but they are not looking at that individually. They tend to look at the overall neighborhood and the street itself and find the majority, and that's what they do their evaluation on. So in my opinion, when one looks at a more balanced approach and you actually see what's happening next door, the proposal fits in appropriately, and that is not being taken into account by planning staff, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Any further questions of the speaker? There being none, I note that there are no other persons registered to speak on this item. So if I could get a motion on this application, please. Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I've listened to the agent speak on this property, and, you know, I mean, as a panel member, I have to look at exactly what is before me in terms of what the experts say, despite all the technical details that the agent has shared with us. I still feel that in the overall scape of things, there was ample time to speak with planning, get points across, negotiate, understand. And if there was a more balanced approach that was needed, I'm sure planning would have considered that. But in reading exactly all of the statistics and the research that's been done, I don't feel comfortable saying, oh, I'm okay with this application. As a result, I don't believe that it conforms to the official plan. And I also don't see that it does satisfy the consent criteria in section 5124 of the Planning Act. So I'm going to put forward a proposal, a motion to refuse this application.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Can I have someone second that motion, please? Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Mr. Romano, your application has been refused. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Item number 2, 6 Knightswood Road. I have one person registered to speak, Mr. Peter Higgins. Mr. Higgins, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm here.
Yes, thank you, sir. I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the city plan? There's a number of reports here. There's a city planning report dated the 12th of November, which indicates that they appear to be okay with the application, provided that the proposals develop substantially in accordance with the side and front yard setbacks as shown on the site plan drawing attached to their report. There's a TRCA report of the 11th of November. They indicate that they have no objection. And Transportation Services has no objection to the application, provided that you put a notation on your plan about closing the redundant driveways and restoring them. Have you had the opportunity to review those reports?
Yes, I have. I've reviewed all of them and have no issue with any of them.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think the committee's very clear on the variances you're asking for. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or it would like a presentation. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to ask the applicant and ask him about variance number 4, which is a front yard setback. The required is 15 meter minimum, and he is providing 4.52 meters. And variance number 5, east side canopy setback is 1.
Mr. Higgins, did you get that question?
The last part, number 5, was the platform and the canopy. Yes, it's a covered deck at the rear. But yes, I generally heard Mr. Connie cut out a little bit. Could I ask the slide of the site plan, colored site plan, be put up, please? It would illustrate best what our objectives are and why we think this is reasonable. Okay, that's my colored site plan. Thank you. We'll stick with that. Can it be enlarged at all? Okay. So I drew this and submitted it to the planning department in dealing with a number of the planners who had concern about the pink hatched area, which is to the bottom of the screen, so to speak. The 15-meter front yard setback requirement is one of, I believe, 8 different front yard setbacks that we have on Knightswood. And they don't always make sense. In the case of this property, while the existing house is set back slightly further than what we're proposing, the 2 neighboring houses average out at 7.5, which is exactly half of the required 15 meters. So the planning department themselves said, yes, we'll go with the average of the 2 neighboring houses. So that is the area where there is a pink hatch that is extending beyond that 7.52 meters. And then the green area towards the top is the area that we can't build on because of large trees that are on the property. This is Hawks Hollow. Trees are very valuable. It's part of the streetscape. We try everything possible to save them, as I believe the committee knows, and certainly the planning department does know that. So our argument is because of the very sharp street line angle, we believe that the green area where we could build but are not building more than offsets the pink area where we are asking to build. We have spoken with both immediate neighbors. Number 2 is a bungalow to the north, to the upper part, which is west. And number 10 is to the bottom, which is east. And both of them, in meeting with us directly and with the clients, have stated that they have no objection. We do not have letters from them, but I can tell you that that is our conversation. We also, Mr. Khan, we've been working on this property for close to 2 years. The Toronto Region Conservation Authority has really tightened up their allowances in terms of how close you can build to the Don River, which is in the backyard. And the both neighboring houses and many others go much closer to the river, but they won't allow us to do that anymore. And the blue line that is noted there, sort of in the middle of the drawing, is the existing house and deck. And the TRCA would not let us push northerly, which is to the right, any further than the edge of the existing deck, which is kind of an angled form. So we're really stuck between a rock and a hard place. Trees in a sharp angle at the front, And the TRCA saying you can't go beyond this, trees in the back. So we've resulted in a plan that we think works very well for saving as many trees as possible. It works well for our clients, and the planning department has, through their staff report, noted that they believe this is reasonable, and as long as we're tied to the site plan, which we are very happy to be, then they don't have any problem. So with that, the TRCA, with Ravine, and with neighbors not having any opposition, I'd like to say that this is a very reasonable proposal in front of you, even though the numbers are very great.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Higgins. I also note that the city planning report had a statement in there about the setback indicating that staff recognizes the subject site and the abutting neighbors currently do not have a 15-meter front yard setback. These lots are also situated on the curved portion of Knightswood Road where the front lot line is on an angle, and they had no objection to that. Anyway, Mr. Khan, did you get your question answered?
Yes, Mr. Chair, yes.
Okay, thank you. There are no other persons registered to speak on this item, and since there are no other further questions on this application, could I get a motion on the application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll motion to approve this application. I do believe that the explanations provided by the agent today satisfies me, and I will motion to approve it with the following conditions: that it does, that it's developed substantially in accordance with the side yard and front yard setbacks as seen on the site plan drawing that was attached to the report, and that's the November 12th staff report. It will also be subject to the conditions of the November 12th transportation report and subject to forestry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sankar. Does someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning, transportation services, and urban forestry conditions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank
and
you.
Good morning to all.
Item number 3, which is 796 Shepherd Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That is, pardon me, I have 7 people registered to speak. The architect is Doris Chung. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes, thank you, madam. I hope I got your name pronounced correctly. Could I get your full name and address, please?
My name is Doris Chung, C-H-E-U-N-G. My address is 20 Wortham Court, Unit 19, Richmond Hill, L4B 388.
Okay, thank you, madam. I just wanted to ask if you've had the opportunity to, there were a number of reports from city staff, one from city planning dated the 11th of November, which indicated they had no objection provided to your application, provided that the approval is subject to a notice of approval condition by the Director of Community Planning, North York District. And there's also a report dated the 9th of November from Transportation Services, and they had no objection to your application. Just wanted to ask if you've had the opportunity to read those reports.
Yes, I do. I have no problem with it.
Okay, thank you, madam. In view of the fact we have 6 people registered to speak, if you could give us a brief presentation on what you see are the merits of your proposal.
Okay, the proposal is a addition to the rear of the existing property, existing church, which is a one-story traditional small church built in the 1960s. The addition is required because, of course, we have to deal with the issues of the children that we needed to address during the worship, because this is the children would join the worship and then they would go to a place where they could do Sabbath school teaching or recreation, which is balls and running and whatnot. So we need a gymnasium or a big space. And also because of the nature of the church operation right now, we needed some space for the people, the staff. So this is why we have to do the two-story addition with the basement. And the basement is basically an extension of classrooms. And the classrooms is only used on the Sabbath, which is a Saturday. And the ground floor is some lobby space and some office space. And the second floor is the mini gymnasium, or half of the size of a regular high school gymnasium.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll move on to the first person on our speakers list. I have Ruby McGill. Are you there, madam? No, okay, Ms. McGill is not there. I have next person on the speakers list is Renato Dela Cruz. Are you there? No, Ms. Dela Cruz is not there. Gladys Matthias, are you there? Ms. Matthias, are you there? Ms. Matthias, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Madam, Ms. Matthias, are you there?
I'm here.
Can I get your full name and address, please? Ms. Matthias, we're having trouble hearing you. Do you have any other audio or devices on? Just speak through your phone. Don't use the speakerphone. Ms. Matthias, are you there? We've lost her. We'll come back to her. I have a next speaker on the list is Angie Buado. Are you there? No. Zudong Wang, are you there?
Hi.
Zudong Wang, are you there?
Yes.
Can I get your full name and
I'm
address,
Shidong Wang.
please?
My phone number is 647-973-5827. My address is 8 GOLDDALE Street, North York.
Okay, thank you. Can you want to give us your thoughts on this application?
Yes. My wife, she will, Qingfang Cui, her English is better than me. She will talk, okay?
Okay, thank
Hello.
you. So,
Yeah.
you are in favor of the application?
No. I think that that application should be no more than 1 story, because the church itself is 1 story. So as an extension, it should be no higher than the original building.
Okay, thank you, madam. I have any questions of the speaker?
And also for the section for the setback, side yard setback, it should be more than, I think it should be more than 3.3 meters.
Okay, thank you, madam. I have next person on the speakers list, Pastor Charles Ojano. Are you there? Okay, we'll go back to the lady Gladys Matthias. Are you there? She's not there. We've gone through our list of speakers. I'll try again. Ms. Matthias, are you there? No, she's not picking up. I'll go back to the agent. Ms. Chung, are you there? Ms. Chung, are you there?
Can you? Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Do you have? You've heard the you've heard the previous speakers. I mean, do you have any further comments that you'd like to add?
Okay, the height of the 1-story or 2-story, this is a really tight design where I needed the space in order to make the addition workable. Because if it is a 1-story, it becomes quite useless for the church. As well, this is fronting onto Shepherd, which is a major street. Now, the neighbor on the 2 sides is a 4-story to 5-story condominium, which is much higher than ourselves. The church seems to be really tiny as compared with our neighbors. And in light of the development of Shepherd, I feel that it is.
Okay, all right. Ms. Chung, I'm sorry. We have one of the other deputants is back online. She'd like to speak. I'm sorry if you could please hold down, and we'll just take one more comment. Ms. Matthias, are you there? Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Buato, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can I get your full name and address, please?
It's Angie Buado.
And your address?
2835 Islington Avenue.
Okay, thank you, madam. If you'd like to give us your thoughts on this application?
Sorry, I got in late. So we are talking about our church, right? We really. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's
Okay, madam,
sorry,
you have no objections to the application? You're in favor of it?
Oh yes, of course. We really need it. You're talking about the church having this renovation. We really need it renovated as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, madam. Any questions of the speaker? Being none, we'll go back to Ms. Chung. I'm sorry, madam, you can, you just heard there's comments from that last comments from Ms. Buato. If you'd like to make your comments again, I'm sorry.
Okay, the story, in conclusion, the 2 neighbors is a 4 to 5-story condominium, condominiums, which is much higher than the existing church. The church is built in the 1960s, and I felt, and with the needs of the congregation, we needed to make the 2-story. And I think it fills into the neighborhood, the new neighborhood in 2020.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm satisfied with the explanations provided by the agent here today. I'll motion to approve this application. I'll make it subject to the November 11th staff report, in that the approval be subject to the issuance of the Notice of Approval Conditions, NOAC, by the Director of Community Planning, North York District.
Thank you, Ms.
That's my
Sankar.
motion.
Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to city planning condition. Thank you, madam. We're now on item number 4, which is 10 De Beers Drive. I have one person registered to speak. That is David McKay. Are you there, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
Okay, thank you, sir. Could I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, it's David McKay, M-C-K-A-Y. I'm at MHBC Planning, and my work address is 7050 Western Road, Suite 230, Woodbridge, Ontario, L4L 8G7.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the Transportation Services Report of the 12th of November?
We did, sir, and we spoke with transportation staff, and they provided a further updated memo dated yesterday, which is being loaded onto the AIC system. I'm not sure if you committee
We
does
don't have it.
that.
The only memo we have, sir, is the one from the 12th of November, which
Okay,
recommends
so
a
I'm not sure
deferral.
if staff. Yes, we saw that, and we did speak with transportation staff, and they have revised their position. And that memo was dated yesterday and uploaded and received by the Committee of Adjustment at 3:30 yesterday afternoon. And they are agreeable to the variance request, subject to conditions of implementing the
Okay.
requested mitigation measures. I can, if committee can provide me, I can share that memo with the committee if staff can allow me to share my screen.
Okay, thank you. I note that there is no other persons registered to speak on this application. Does the committee have any questions on the
Mr. Chairman.
application, or would it like a presentation?
Mr. Chairman, if you give us a second, we're going to upload the memo if we have it.
Okay, thank you. Just a moment, committee. We'll put up that subsequent memo from Transportation Services. Okay, I'll just ask Mr. McKay, you've seen that recommended condition from Transportation Services on their report of the 18th of November?
Yes.
You are,
And this is,
does that cause you any concern?
it does not. It was recommended by BA Group, our transportation consultant,
Okay,
and
thank you
will be
very much.
implemented as part of the proposal.
Thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we have no other persons registered to speak on this application. If I could get a motion, please. Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Given the positive recommendation for transportation, I'd like to put forward a result that put forward a motion to accept the application.
Would that be subject to the 18th November condition from Transportation Services that was just up on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second Mr. Kidd's motion. Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan, are you in favor? Okay, thank you. The motion carries unanimously. Mr. McKay, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to Transportation Services condition.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Item number 5, 118 AIRDRIE Road. I have one person registered to speak, and Arjang Behesht. I hope I've said that correctly. Are you there, sir?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair. You said it correctly, Arjang Behesht from Homeland at 49 Wycliffe Crescent, and we are requesting for a deferral for this application, please.
Okay, can I ask the reason for the deferral?
Yes, sure. Mr. Chair, we have requested for a deferral well in advance from both the building department and the application technician for city planning for this specific project. And we have done so because the designers and applicants of the current proposal as it stands before us now have actually been changed. The owner of the project had requested some substantial changes to the application, and unfortunately they couldn't come to an agreement with the previous designers. So our firm has since come on board, and for us to make these necessary changes, some minor variances will inevitably be changed, some removed, and some new variances may possibly even be added. In order for us to be able to communicate this revised application with the immediate neighbors and come forth with an application with a zoning review notice, not merely a waiver as it is now, we kindly ask the committee that the application be deferred sine die so that we may be able to attend to these matters.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on the deferral?
Mr. Chair, if I may, we have one deputant that wishes to speak to this application that registered late.
Okay,
I'm Mr. Jason Purry.
Mr. Jason Burry, are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
Just can I get your full name and address, please?
Full name, Jason Purry, P-U-R-R-Y, 120 Airdrie Road.
Sir, can you speak
Toronto,
up? We're
Ontario.
having trouble hearing you.
Jason Purry, 120 Airdrie Road, Toronto, Ontario, Mark 4 George, 1 Michael 5.
Okay, sir, do you have an objection to the applicant requesting a deferral?
I do not.
You do not?
I do not.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions of the speaker? There being none, we have a motion on the deferral. Can I get a motion on the deferral, please? Ms. Sankar?
Mr. Chair, through you, I'll motion to defer this application sine die to allow the agent, the new agents, to make necessary changes to the application.
Thank you. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion?
Second.
Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application's been adjourned sine die so that you can revise the application with the relevant city divisions and for community consultation.
Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you very
can we
much,
just-
Mr. Chair.
Can we just ask Ron Hunt if he's there? Because we don't see his on.
Mr. Hunt, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
We haven't got your video feed, sir.
Well, I'm pushing on the video feed and it says that the video option is unavailable for this WebEx site.
Try logging out and logging back in, but we can continue the hearing because we do have quorum.
Okay.
So we'll proceed until Mr. Hunt logs back in. Okay, thank you. We'll go to our next item on the agenda. Item number 6, 116 Mason Boulevard. I have one person registered to speak, Lauren Rose. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am, sir. Just to let you know, there's no video for anybody.
Yes, we have no other speakers registered for this item, sir. I just wanted to, can I get your full name and address, please?
Lauren Rose, 388 Spadina Road.
Pardon?
Sorry, Lauren, you said there's no video for the members. You're using WebEx?
Yeah, what I see where I usually see video, it says ECC, and there's a file, a picture of a file. There's no video showing.
Okay, because
It's just named.
our YouTube is showing video, and our screen in the council chambers is showing video.
Okay,
So
no problem.
that's odd. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Rose, would you like to proceed?
Sure.
Okay,
I
before you
do want
start,
to
sir,
say-
before you start, I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 27th of October? Because they indicate that they appear to have no objection, provided the properties develop substantially in accordance with site plan and southeast side elevation drawings submitted to the committee and attached to their report, and that you provide permanent opaque screening or fencing along the east edge of the proposed rear deck with a minimum height of 1.5 meters from the floor. Have you had the opportunity to read that city planning report?
Yes, I have. I have no problem with it, but I do want to point out that sometimes neighbors do not want another obstruction 1.5 meters above a deck. We're happy to do it if the committee wants, but that conversation with the neighbor hasn't taken place. So sometimes it's a bad thing. It happens often with planning asking for this, but if there's no objections, we have 11 neighbors in support. The neighbors on both sides have not asked for anything like that. So if you make it a condition, obviously we will do it, but it's sometimes not the best thing for neighbors to do that.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'll just ask the committee, very clear what you're asking for in the variances, sir. We have no other persons registered to speak on this item. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir. I'm taking the staff recommendations and one, in accordance with the site plan and southeast side elevation drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustment, attachment number 1 and 2 to this report. Number 2, the applicant to provide permanent opaque screen along the east side of the proposed rear deck with a minimum height of 1.5 meters from the floor.
Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Mr. Chair, I'm here, but I have no video.
Mr. Hunt, yeah, we still don't have a video. What do we do with Mr. Hunt if we have no video for him?
If Mr. Hunt wants to make a motion, he'll speak up. And when you say all in favor, if Mr. Hunt, if you can just let us know if you're in favor or opposed from now on. That
All
way,
right.
That way we don't mark you absent.
Okay, Mr. Hunt, you can hear us okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, thank you. We'll proceed to item number 7, 257 Cherokee Boulevard. I have one person registered to speak. That's a Kai Ping Shen. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry, madam. Can I get your full name and address, please?
My phone number is 416-566-1968. Address is 257 Cherokee Boulevard, North York, M2H2J9.
Thank you, madam. Have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 12th of November? They have no objection to your application, provided that your carport remains unenclosed. Have you had the opportunity to read that report?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask, you have one variance before us. It's relating to the side yard setback. It's very clear what you're asking for. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir. I'm taking the staff recommendations that the carport shall remain unenclosed.
Okay.
Thank you. Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion?
Hunt seconds.
Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Next application is 27 Berkinshaw Crescent. I have 4 people registered to speak. The agent is a Babak Haji Gassemi. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, sir. I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 12th of November?
Yes.
Because they're recommending, they had a number of recommended modifications to the application. And should the committee approve a revised application, that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the side exterior main wall heights as shown on the north and south side elevation drawings attached to their report. Now, that planning report, we're recommending that variances number 6 and 7 regarding the exterior main wall heights be reduced, and variance number 8 regarding the front yard setback be increased, and variance number 10 regarding the platform encroachment be reduced as well. Have you had the are you proposing to make those changes?
Yes, sir. We had a chance to work with the planning department closely prior to this hearing, and we followed their recommendations, and we sent them our revised drawings, and they were happy with it. And I can go through the changes that is going to affect the notice of this hearing.
Sir, if you're proposing to make changes to your application, can you please tell the committee what those changes are?
Absolutely, yes. So variance number 6 we reduced from 9.17 to 8.66.
Okay, it's going,
Variance number 7
okay, it's going from 9.17 meters to which?
to 8.66.
8.66 meters? Okay, that's variance
Yes.
number 6. Is there, what's the next one?
The next one is also a sidewall height. We reduced the sidewall height from 9.17 to 8.66.
Well, which variance number is that, sir? Number 7?
Number 7, yeah.
Okay, so number 7 is going from 9.17 meters to 8.66 meters?
Yes. And variance number 8, we increased our front yard setback from 8.81 to 9.23.
8.81 meters to 9.23. Okay, what's the next one?
And variance number 10, the encroachment is now reduced to encroachment is now reduced to 3.48 from 3.9.
Okay, thank you. So those are the changes. I'm just going to read them out to make sure we've got them correctly.
So there's one more change.
What's that,
And
sir?
variance number 11, we reduced the height from 9.72 to 9.57.
Okay, so variance number 11 is not from 9.72 meters to which?
9.57.
9.57. Are there any other changes?
That's all.
Okay, thank you. I'll just read, make sure we've got these correct. Variance number 6, which currently reads the proposed height of the south side exterior main walls facing a side lot line is 9.17 meters. That changes from 9.17 meters to 8.66 meters. Variance number 7, which currently reads the proposed height of the north side exterior main walls facing a side lot line is 9.17 meters. That's changed to 8.66 meters. Variance number 8, which currently reads the proposed front yard setback is 8.81 meters, is being changed to 9.23 meters. Variance number 10, which currently reads the proposed front platform encroaches 3.9 meters into the required front yard setback, will now read 3.48 meters instead of 3.9. Variance number 11, the proposed building height is 9.72 meters. That's being changed from 9.72 meters to 9.57 meters. I've got those correctly, sir?
Yes, only just want to double check. Variance number 10, we changed the encroachment from 3.9 meters to 3.48.
Yes, well, I indicated that. Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Now we have a number of people waiting to speak here. If you'd like to give us a brief presentation on what you see are the merits of your proposal.
If I can have the revised drawings put on the screen so I can have a brief presentation on it, please.
Sir, can you start, please?
Thank you very much. Yes. So basically, as you can see, a proposal is a two-story house, and we work with the planning staff and push back the building to where the current house is actually located. I've highlighted the footprint of the existing house on this site plan in red, and you can see our front wall at the driveway is actually aligned, and then the rest of the building actually sets back a little bit further. And as you can see, there is a there's a good amount of open space in the front yard. We are more or less in line with our neighbors to both sides of this proposal. We actually had a chance to talk to them, and they did not have any objection to the placement of our building. And the reason that we place the building right where you see it is that we wanted to increase the amount of green space we have in the back. These properties in Dalmias and Lawrence, they're fairly they don't have a very deep lot, only 100 feet deep, and this way we wanted to increase that open space in the back. Now, if we can go to our elevation. Actually, if you can go, yes. So actually, sorry, go to page A2 to the south elevation, page A202.
Sir, we're having trouble hearing you. Can you speak? Can you speak into the and turn off the speakerphone and speak directly into the phone, please?
Yes, I'm actually on my laptop. Can you hear me now better?
That's better.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to explain our sidewall height. So the sidewall height that we are asking for is actually for the architectural feature that we have in the front of the house. This is a hybrid roof. The front of the house has a flat roof look because of its modern intent. However, the main mass of the building has a sloped roof, and it's on all three sides. Our sidewall height is on the variance is being measured to the architectural feature in the front. However, as I highlighted on the side elevation, the majority of our proposal has a sidewall height of 8.02 meters. The planning recommended that we be tied to our proposed elevation. We don't have any objection to that. And that's, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll move on to the next person on our list. I have an Adriana Trujillo. Are you there? Ms. Trujillo, are you there?
Mr. Chair, they're present, however, their audio is not working.
Okay, I'll move to the next person on the list. I have a Galit Lifshiz. I hope I've said that correctly. Are you there? Galit Lifshiz, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, madam. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yeah, my name is Galit Lifshitz. I live at 24 BERKINSHAW Crescent. My phone number is 416-697-7919.
Okay, thank you. If you'd like to give us your comments on this application.
Well, actually, my main comments are all the points.
Madam, you're breaking up on us. Can you speak into the phone and don't use the speakerphone?
I'm not using the speakerphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. Well, my main concerns are points 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11, which are the points that the owner was mentioning that he changed some of the variants, but it's still, the building is too high to the street, to the look of the street, to the character of the street. I don't really understand why there is a need for 8.66 meter home. The houses here on the street are not that high, and there is no need for, in my opinion, for that height. Also, the setback is really like if you are looking at the street and you have a house that is like, well, he said 9.23 now, it's still going to be much closer to the street than what usually all the houses are on the street. So it's going to affect the look, it's going to affect the character, and I don't see why there is a reason to make such a big house.
Okay, thank you, madam. Any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir. Madam, my question is, when the applicant has reduced the height to the acceptable limits of the planning officials, you should be happy rather than you should be objecting. But anyhow, I have heard
But he didn't reduce it to
but
the
it is
limit.
brought into the acceptable limits. So what do you say?
He didn't reduce to the limit. The side lot line is 7.5. He reduced it to 8.66.
Okay, thank you, madam. Any further questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go to our next speaker. I'll go back to Ms. Adriana Trujillo. Are you there?
Hi, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, we can hear you, madam. Can I get your full name and
Oh,
address,
I'm glad.
please?
My name is Adriana Trujillo. I live at 23 BERKINSHAW, Crescent, M3B to T1. So I agree with my neighbor on everything that she said. My question is how the building height now, even with the new one, is being managed. It appears that in the elevation, there is an excavating garage. So it appears to be a 3-story building instead of the permitted 2-story in the neighborhood. The surrounding houses are a single-story houses. And I am concerned about the perception that the neighborhood is creating, allowing to have this massive building heights in such a cozy and traditional area, which is the Don Mills area. And that's my first question, how the building height is being managed. My second question is again in relationship to the front yard setback and how is that being treated? Because the proposed porch is sticking out way too much. So the access stairs, I don't know if that has been taken into consideration into the new proposed setback, or is just only the building setback what is being managed here, but the proposed porch is still invading the frontage of the lot. Therefore, the sidelines that are looking towards the street are being affected. So I just have those two questions.
Okay, madam, I just wanted to ask, did you have the opportunity to read the city planning report on this application?
I did.
Because because city planning is indicating that staff note that the front yard setback is an existing setback that the new 2-story dwelling will be maintaining. Despite the existing and proposed dwelling encroaching into the front yard, staff are of the opinion that the general intent of the zoning bylaw regulating front yard setbacks is still being maintained.
I trust the review of the building planning department. So if that's being maintained, the impression that is being given through the application is maybe incorrect, as long as the proponent doesn't affect the sideline. I just want to reiterate that the frontage of the street is very well conserved in this street. So.
Okay, thank you, madam. Any questions of the speaker? Go to our last speaker on the list. I have a Michelle Brent. Are you there, madam?
Yes, I am.
Ms. Brent, can I get your full name and address, please?
Michelle Brent, 38 Berkinshaw Crescent.
Can you please give us your thoughts on this application?
Yes, I live directly across the street from this home, so I am impacted more than anybody probably. I live in a bungalow, which is a back split, so the whole front of my house is windows, and I will lose my whole sight line if they are given permission to build the height that they want. When I look out, when I sit in my living room, it's all windows, and when I look out, I will lose all sight of the sky. I will lose all my morning sun. My grass will lose all its morning sun. And one of the reasons a lot of us are living in this neighborhood is because of the planned neighborhood that Don Mills is so well known for. And a house of this scope will change that drastically. My issue isn't so much with the, the setback at the front, it's more the height that they're requesting.
Okay, you understand, madam, that there's a variance for the main wall height, but the actual overall height of the dwelling, there's no variance. He's not seeking a variance for that. He complies with the bylaw.
The maximum permitted building height is 8.8 meters.
And
So
there's not a
he's-
variance required for the overall height of the building. Okay, thank you, madam. Any questions of the speaker? There being none, we have no other speakers. I'll go back to the agent. Sir, you have the opportunity to address the concerns raised by the previous speakers.
Thank you, sir. We actually approached these two neighbors, number 24 and 38. We left them our cards so that if they have any questions about this proposal, they can give us a call so we can explain the variances. But I'll be more than happy to explain why we have those variances. So if we can have the site plan back again. Sorry, front elevation. So in terms of the overall height under the old North York bylaw, we have a variance of 9. We're asking for 9.57. However, if you look at our front elevation, you'll see that the center of the road, there is a big difference in elevation between the center of the road and the front elevation. That difference is 56 centimeters. Now, if that center of the road is actually closer, we would be asking for only 20 centimeters, which is actually a very minor variance indeed. And also, in terms of the side yard setbacks that the neighbor at 24 mentioned, our immediate neighbor on the north side, they have a 1.2 meter setback, and we are asking for 1.5 on both sides. And this is mainly, we want to make the use of the overall width of this property in order to maximize our open spaces in the back of the building and also in the front. Now, if you were asking for more setbacks on this side, that would mean that our building would be much deeper, and we would have a more length. That's how these immediate neighbors on our two sides will be impacted. So I believe these variances are very minor in nature, and it complies with the intent of the bylaws.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of the speaker? There being none, can I get a motion on this revised application, please? I just emphasize that the applicant has made the recommended revisions requested by city planning. So if I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Mr. Khan?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, I would like to go through, first of all, the changes which has been made by the applicant, if I may.
Sure.
I will, and also then followed by the recommendation by the staff. Number one, the reduced variation number 6 is from 9.17 to 8.66. And variance number 7, reduction from 9.17 to 8.66, and variance number 8 increased from 8.81 to 9.23 meters. And then I'm moving to variance number 10, which has been reduced from 3.9 to 3.48 meters. And variance number 11 has been reduced from 9.72 to 9.57 meters. Now, these are the changes which have been made by the applicant, and staff has also recommended that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the side elevation, with the side exterior main wall heights as seen on the north and south side elevation drawings attached to this report, and also comply with the forestry conditions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Someone to second that motion?
Hunt seconds.
Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries
Yes.
unanimously. Sir,
Thank
your
you,
revised
Commissioner.
application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry and city planning conditions.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is item number 941 Snyder Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That is a Nadia Dantino. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes, hello, madam. I just wanted to ask if you've had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 12th of November, because they had indicated
have.
that they were looking for some modifications. And if you made those modifications, that if we decide to approve your revised application, that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the side exterior main wall heights as seen on the north and south side elevation drawings attached to their report. Now, I noticed they wanted, according to their report, they were looking for reducing variances number 6 and 7, increasing variance number 8 regarding the front yard setback, and reducing variance number 10 regarding the platform encroachment. Do you propose to make those changes as they're asking for?
Sorry, we just had 3 variances, but we did, in reference to the one recommendation that they made for the permanent opaque screening or fencing along the north edge to be proposed rear deck and front porch. Are you referring to that one?
Okay, so are you proposing to make changes to your application?
Yes, we already did make we made the change in accordance with the proposed suggestion that they made, and we've actually removed the first variance that we had in relation to that. I think they did upload a new file.
Oh, Madam, my apologies. I clicked on the wrong application. My mistake.
That's what I thought. I was like,
Yeah, just
let
me start over. 41 Snyder Avenue. It was the report from
Yes.
City Planning dated the 27th of October. And they had no objection provided you put in permanent opaque screening or fencing along the north edge of the proposed rear deck with a minimum height of 1.5 meters. Yes, I'm sorry.
That's right, and that's okay. I was like, oh, that's new. No, we already made a change in accordance to that proposition to actually remove the variance number 1. So I know that something has been uploaded to the AIC already in reference to that named CA site plan. So we actually removed the variance to comply with the zoning.
So you still have the 3 variances before us.
Just the 2. Just 2. We removed
Okay,
the
so
first one.
which variance are you deleting?
The first one.
So variance number
It's the
1.
first. That's
Variance
right.
number 1 is being deleted.
Correct.
Okay, that's the variance that was requesting the proposed front and rear porch deck north side yard setback is 0.75 meters. That variance is no longer required.
That's right.
So you're only going with variance 2 and 3. Okay, thank you. I'll just ask the committee, there is no one else registered to speak on this item. The applicant has revised their application. They've deleted variance number 1. They're only going with variance number 2 and 3. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker, or would it like a presentation? Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion on this revised application, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the proposal meets the test for minor variance, and I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application with the following revisions. Variance number 1 to be eliminated, and subject to the following condition that the applicant is to provide permanent opaque screening or fencing along the north edge of the proposed rear deck and the front porch with a minimum height of 1.5 meters from the floor of the platforms, and also subject to forestry conditions.
Thank you very much. Someone to second Mr. Kidd's motion?
Sorry,
Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Mr. Hunt, are you in favor? Oh, Mr. Hunt is not there. Okay, anyway, we have.
I'm here.
We have.
I am
four.
here.
Oh, Mr. Hunt, were you in favor of Mr. Kidd's motion?
Yes, I was.
Okay, thank you. That motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry and city planning conditions.
sorry, just one thing. Thank you. But just in regards to the forestry, we did see, but in regards to the recommendation, if we remove variance number 1, that recommendation no longer applies, correct?
Yeah, the motion's been made, madam. So, I mean, you can discuss that with city planning, but right now that motion still stands. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 10, 91 Heddington Avenue. I have one person registered to speak, Michelle Moran, the agent. Are you there, madam?
I am here, yes.
Yes.
It's actually Cindy McPhee. I'm the agent for the application.
Yes, can I get your full name and address, please?
Yep, Cindy McPhee. We're First Step Design, and we're 16600 Bayview Avenue, Newmarket, Ontario, Suite 304.
Okay, madam, I wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the Transportation Services report of the 12th of November? Because they're recommending...
Yes, we have. Yes.
Just a moment, madam.
A deferral.
They're recommending that your application be deferred so that you can revise plans, particularly the driveway and the front yard parking design and dimensions. Now, have you had the opportunity to read that report?
Yes, and we would like to ask for a deferral for those reasons.
Madam, I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you speak up?
Yes, we have read the report, and we would like to ask for a deferral for those reasons, please.
Okay, so you'd like to defer the application so you can discuss the issue with Transportation Services?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll just ask there is no other speakers registered on this application. The applicant is requesting a deferral to deal with Transportation Services. Does the committee have any questions? No, can I get a motion on the deferral? Ms. Sankar?
Hunt?
Mr. Hunt?
I'll allow Mr. Hunt, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Sankar? Ms. Sankar?
I think Mr. Hunt had his hand up first, so I want to give him a chance.
Okay, Mr. Hunt, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on the request for a deferral, I would move that this application be deferred sine die for the opportunity to speak with staff.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second Mr. Hunt's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? The motion carries unanimously. Madam, your application has been unanimously deferred for the opportunity so that you can meet with Transportation Services. That's been adjourned sine die.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 11, 225 Burndale Avenue. I have one person registered to speak, and Adam Brander. Are you there, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Adam Brander. My address is 49 Bolton Avenue in Toronto.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the Transportation Services report of the 12th of November? They indicate that they have no objection, but they're asking that you put a notation on the site plan drawing indicating that you're going to close the site driveways that you're not going to be using anymore and restore it with soft landscaping. Have you had the opportunity to read that report, sir?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. It's pretty clear what you're asking for in the 5 variances we have before us. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. I note that we have no other persons registered to speak on this item. Does the committee require a presentation? Committee, no, it doesn't. Can I get a motion on the application, please? Mr. Khan?
Mr. Chair, thank you, Mr. Chair. Our transportation services has no objection to this application, but has added that all portion of the existing site access driveways that are no longer required must be closed and restored with the soft landscaping and full concrete curbs to the satisfaction of the transportation services. And also there's no staff input on this application.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion?
Hunt seconds.
Yes, Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously, subject to Transportation Services condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Item number 12, 15 Citation Drive. I have one person registered to speak, Lucas Cocomello. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, thank Mr. Cocomello. I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 12th of November, which they're recommending that the rear second floor balcony be developed with an east side yard setback of 1.8 meters. Now, I wanted to ask, you had a variance for that side yard setback. Does that affect variance number 1? And does it effectively scuttle your proposal?
No, it doesn't. Variance number 1 is for the actual second story addition that we're proposing. We don't have a problem stepping in the proposed second story deck to comply with the bylaw.
Sir, we're having trouble hearing you. Do you have other audio devices on at the same? Just speak into your phone and turn off the speakerphone.
Do you hear me better now?
That's better.
Okay, perfect. So variance number 1 is mainly for the second story addition that we're proposing over the existing dwelling. What city planning was requesting is just to step in the proposed second story deck that we have shown.
Okay,
we don't have a problem complying with it.
Okay, thank you. I'll just I'll just ask the committee, does it have any questions or comments, or would it like another presentation? I note that we have no other persons registered to speak on the item. That being the case, could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll motion to approve this application. I do believe it meets the 4 tests. I'll make it subject to the November 12th staff report in that the rear second floor balcony be developed with an east side yard setback of 1.8 meters and make it subject to forestry.
Thank you very much. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? Mr. Hunter, you in favor? And we have enough quorum to, that motion carries. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry and city planning2conditions.
Thanks.
Number 13, 75 Hillmount Avenue. I have two persons registered to speak. I have a John Badinsky, the agent. Are you there, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Yes, John Badinsky here.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask if you've had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 27th of October. They appear to have no objection, provided that if the application's approved, that it be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan and west side elevation drawings submitted to the committee and attached as attachments 1 and 2 to their report. Have you had the opportunity to read that report, sir?
Yes, we designed with that in mind. There's a pretty broad discrepancy between the numbers on paper and the visual impact of our proposal, so that condition's expected and acceptable.
Okay, thank you. I just want to, if there is one person registered to speak on this item, sir, if you could give us a very brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal.
Absolutely. The addition is divided into 2 primary masses. There's a single-story main floor breakfast area, which substantially occupies the area currently occupied by a deck. It accounts for 1.5 meter addition to building length. The majority of its floor area is actually enclosed on the east and west side by existing masonry walls. So the majority of the main floor addition will be concealed. The reason the requested length of variances and coverage variances are so large is because we've also proposed an outdoor amenity area below a rear terrace, which is appended. So the majority of that variance is located in the basement. Won't be visible to anyone but the immediate neighbors who have both written letters in support. So that is that's the substance of it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir, Mr. Chair. Mr. Budinsky, I will draw your attention and make comments about variance number 8, excavation between rear platform not allowed. Do you have something to say about it?
Variance number 8.
That's the one that reads that there will be excavation below the rear platform. Excavation below the rear platform is not a permitted projection. Variance number 8.
I understand. That's the area I was referring to that accounts for the bulk of our required length and coverage. It exists in the rear yard. It's visually, in terms of the intent of the bylaw and urban design, it'll be identical to a deck without an excavation. It allows us to discreetly add some necessary amenities for our clients.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any further questions of the speaker? We'll go to our next speaker. It's Deborah Glogauer. Are you there, madam? Ms. Glogauer, are you there?
Mr. Chair, it appears that Deborah is present. However, their audio is not connected.
I'll try one more time, but I'm not going to go back. Ms. Deborah Glogauer, are you there? One more time. Ms. Glogauer, are you there? Okay, let's take her off the list. Go back. Thank you. The speaker is not available, so we're just going to go with, I'm sorry. Okay. Deborah Glogauer, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, thank you, madam. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Sure, it's Deborah Glogauer, 52 Viewmount Avenue.
Madam, madam, we're having trouble hearing you. Can you speak into your phone and turn off your speaker phone and any other audio devices you have turned on?
Sure, one moment. Yes, hi. My name is Deborah Glogauer. I'm at 52 Viewmount Avenue.
Thank you. And can we give us your comments on this application?
I actually had no objections to this application whatsoever. I just wanted to approve to give my support for it.
Oh, that's good to hear. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions of the speaker? Speakers, Ms. Goldgauer is in favor of the application. I'll go back to Mr. Bedinsky. Sir, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I feel that the variance, the requested variance are minor in nature and feel that they meet the 4 tests for minor variance set out in the Planning Act. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application subject to the condition that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan and the west side elevation drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustment and attached as attachments number 1 and 2 to the staff report dated October 27, and also subject to forestry conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second that motion?
Hunt seconds.
Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to city forestry and city planning conditions. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll come back in 5 minutes, 11:50. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, committee is back in session. We are now on item number 14, which is 7 Knightswood Road. I have 3 persons registered to speak on this item. The first person is the agent, David Bronskill. Mr. Bronskill, are you there?
Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Committee members, can you hear the agent?
Unfortunately, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, now I can, I think.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Mr.
Okay,
I
you can
can,
hear
Mr.
us?
Chair, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear
thank
you.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask, sir, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 12th of November? They were, I guess that you had agreed to make some changes to your application, and that if you do make those changes, should the committee choose to approve the application, that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the east side yard setback and building length, which includes the rear ground floor deck patio as seen on the site plan drawing attached to their report. Have you had the opportunity to read that report, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have, and it's acceptable.
Okay, and would you like to make some changes to your application?
Yes, sir. Coming out of that report and in the first page of the supplementary materials we provided, it does annotate the variances, Mr. Chair, in terms of what's been eliminated or reduced as a result of these discussions with city planning.
Okay, can you, for the benefit of the committee, can you go through your application and as well as the audience who's here, if you could tell the
Yes.
committee what variances are being changed?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Variance 3, which is the west side yard setback, it
Okay.
would be deleted or eliminated.
Variance number 3 is deleted. Okay.
Yes. Variance 4, which is lot coverage, would be reduced from 43.78% to 33.65%.
Okay, thank you.
Variance 6, building length, would be reduced from 35.04 meters to 28.44 meters.
Okay, can I just, so that was from 35.04 meters to which?
28.44.
28.44 meters, okay, thank you.
Variance 7, which is building depth, would be reduced from 33.87 meters to 27.26 meters.
To how much?
27.26.
Okay, 27.26 meters.
Yes, sir.
Any other changes?
And then the last, Mr. Chair, I can group variances 8 and 9 would be deleted.
8 and 9 deleted.
Yes, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Let me just,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
if you could give us, sir, on the basis, and I also wanted to ask, if you've seen there was a report from Ravine Features and Natural Protection, their report of the November 5th, and they were recommending refusal due to impacts on bylaw protected trees. Have you had the opportunity to see that report?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and we've engaged them in some discussions without resolution yet, and I'm happy to address that in my comments to the committee if that's helpful.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you could give us you have 5 minutes to give us a presentation on what you see are the merits of your revised application.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
As the committee probably realizes, this is a site that actually had a Committee of Adjustment approval from March of 2018. And in the materials that we provided to the committee at page 4 with the assistance of staff, just one more page forward if you don't mind. There's a blue, thank you. There's a blue box on this image, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, that shows the envelope previously approved by the Committee of Adjustment through that application in March of 2018. And just while I'm here, I will flag for you, Mr. Chair, the tree that has been identified by a city staff through this application actually falls within the blue box. It's at the rear, right in the middle, and is shown, I think, as T18, but it falls at the rear of that building envelope, basically right in the middle of the house. At that time, Mr. Chair, in fact, none of the departments flagged an issue with that tree, and this application, with some modifications, was approved, resulting in the blue envelope shown on this schedule. My client subsequently purchased the property, aware of this variance decision and without any urban forestry condition on that decision, and in fact reliance on that decision. They have a large family, 2 kids. It's a multi-generational family. 1 parent and 2 sisters are in fact going to be living with my client's family, which in part I think explains the increased below-grade garage that has been incorporated into the revised proposal. If I could ask staff to turn back just 1 page. This is a diagram that shows the proposed house. Thank you to staff. In hatched, the green line, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, is the existing home, which does extend beyond the rear wall today of the adjacent house at 9 Knightswood. It also shows in red what would be an as-of-right envelope, which is obviously a bit less than the blue envelope previously approved by the Committee of Adjustment. I would note that, again, the tree there, T18, is at the rear. It is just beyond the red outline of the as-of-right. And I would say that any as-of-right construction will actually have an impact on that tree as well, because it would be well within the tree protection zone. So the comments from staff about this tree, we understand them. We'd like the opportunity through the tree permit process to work with them. Obviously, an as-of-right would have an impact on this tree. And obviously, the previous approval, if implemented, would result in the removal of the tree. So we do want to have that conversation with urban forestry staff through the tree permit process, and would propose standard urban forestry conditions to be able to work that through with them. Otherwise, Mr. Chair, we believe that what is being proposed is largely consistent with the previous approval. The biggest change, frankly, is an above-grade deck over the excavated garage, which results in some of the additional length and depth. As staff noted, without the excavated deck patio, the lot coverage is in fact approximately 28%, which would comply with the bylaw provision, and the above-grade building length is only 23.67 meters. So we appreciate the opportunity to have worked it through with city staff, city planning staff. They are recommending approval of the modified application, and we'd ask the committee to endorse that recommendation. We think it's appropriate to have the condition about substantially in accordance with the different dimensions to ensure that the below-grade aspects aren't incorporated into any above-grade structures. And we would simply ask for the standard urban forestry conditions so that we can work through this puzzling issue in respect of the tree, given that they previously essentially authorized its removal in March 2018 with the previous approval. So absent any questions, Mr. Chair, that would be my overview and submission to the committee.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brownskill. I'll just ask the committee, does it have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll move on to the next person registered to speak on this application. I have Leanne Lewis. Are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, madam. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, my full name is Leanne Lewis. I live at 113 Donwoods Drive, which is about 3 doors down from the property under discussion. I will be speaking against the application. Of course, some of the pieces now in the application have been changed, so it's sort of new news. And so, among other things, I was coming to speak against the application, which I am still going to do. I would ask the committee to potentially defer it if they're not prepared to move against it at this time, just because of this very sudden change that other neighbors haven't had an opportunity to respond to. While the representative's point is taken with regard to it being the buyer purchasing it, understanding a previous agreement, I think unfortunately, there's an element of caveat emptor. This is a new application, and a lot of neighbors have not, and myself included, were not aware of or did not have an opportunity to address the 2018 application. Anyway, I'll move forward with the main points that I want to speak to, and specifically, it's based on three things: the number and scope of the variances, even with the modifications flagged today, the fact that it is inconsistent with the established character of the neighborhood, and also that the scope adds a problematic issue around impermeability of ground cover and the amount of impermeable ground cover that this application introduces. So I want to underscore that I'm not somebody who has a knee-jerk opposition to variances. When we built our home 18 years ago, due to a peculiarity of our lot, we applied for and were granted a minor variance. Over the years, we have remained unopposed to several nearby minor variances because they were minor and met the 4 tests. This application, unfortunately, does not satisfy the tests, even in my view, with the changes made today. First, just the sheer number of variances, although they have now been reduced. I will cite just 4 of the variances that are on the schedule. The proposed coverage still remains 10% more than permitted. The proposed building length is 60% more than permitted. The proposed building depth is still 50% more than permitted, and the proposed height is 40% more than permitted, and that isn't something that has been changed. And with regard to the question of the proposal being desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land, the application also fails that test. And specifically, the variances are, as I mentioned, at odds with the established character of the neighborhood. The neighborhood, in particular in this section of the neighborhood, is highly regarded for its unique country and the city character. And what contributes to that character is in part the meandering streets, the hill and valley topography, and the lush flora. However, the quality of those features would be lost if not for the fact that homeowners in this area who have built new homes have respected the character by building homes that sit sensitively on their lots and work with the streetscape. And it's important to note that all of the homes, or most of the homes in this area, are newer, the vast preponderance. And I think it's an important point to make clear, because we're not talking about a new home among other smaller homes that are probably going to be torn down in the near future, and that's why it doesn't fit in. We're talking about homes that are newer, and this still will stand out from those newer homes. In this case, the dwelling is out of step with the newer homes, and in particular, the building height. 2 of the newer homes in the area are very large. They're 10 to 14,000 square feet, but they sit on their property very well. They're within the coverage that was allowed because they bought a lot that would hold a house of that size. And the other thing is that there was a lot of sensitivity among new builds around this area with height. There's really nobody around this particular area, even with those very large homes, that has changed the height. And the combination of coming towards the street and being such a tall home compared to the others definitely would have a negative impact on the
Madam,
character
can you
of the
summarize,
street.
please?
Yes. Certainly, yeah. So the bottom line is, I just want to really flag that, again, with the amount of money that the Conservation Authority and the city have invested in mitigating flood risk. And so it is a concern that such a large impervious covering of the land would be permitted.
Okay, thank you,
given
Madam.
that,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions of the speaker? Being none, we have one other. The last speaker registered to speak is a Perry
That's me.
Lupirpa.
I'm Perry Luprepa.
Yes, hello. Can
you
I
hear
get your
me?
full name and address, please?
Perry Luprepa, number 1 Knightswood Road.
Okay,
And
thank
I'm
you, Madam.
Leanne's neighbor immediately to the east.
Okay, can you please give us your
I also
comments
want
on
to
this
put out
application?
there that my objection, my concern, I registered it unfortunately 1 hour late, but it is now on the file. If you pull it up, it's dated the 13th, which was 1 day after it was allowed. So I'm not going to get into a lot of detail because Leanne very, very eloquently stated absolutely everything, and I entirely support her. I typically like to get involved when other neighbors immediately abutting the property have a concern. And unfortunately, because there's a global pandemic and an international health calamity and everything's in lockdown, people are not actually living at their residences and they're not necessarily checking their snail mail. We received this notice on Monday, November 9th in the afternoon. I have been out of town for most of the pandemic. I happened to arrive that afternoon and I was told on the note that I had 3.5 working days to submit my concerns. That did not give me enough time to speak to the neighbors on the immediate side of the property, both of whom are out of town, I believe. I was able to get in touch with one at number 9, and she told me that she had concerns. I also was able to speak to the YMVA Development Committee, who also had concerns. My premise is that I support the immediate neighbors. I was not able to speak to my immediate neighbor to the east because I believe they're out of town. English is not their first language. They do not necessarily get all this communication. I am very, very concerned that the process is undemocratic and flawed. I do not understand why it's being rushed. I was in touch with my city councillor, Jay Robinson, who informed me that she supported the concern that during this global pandemic, when things are in lockdown, that there should not be a rushed process. And I understand that at the October council meeting, this was addressed, and that the Committee of Adjustments has said that they would look at changing the process. I'm very concerned that it's now November and there has been no change. So I really want to get on record that the process is shameful. I've been listening to the hearing all morning. People who do not have English as their first language are not able to communicate. I see no video on my screen, which has also been reflected. And I also am on the board for the Toronto Council of Aging. We've done tremendous outreach about technology. I believe that there have been a few people that were supposed to speak, and I don't know if I'm generalizing. I think they might have been elderly and they were not able to figure out the communication. I think the process is deplorable and shameful. There should be more time. And I don't know what your technical checks and balances are. I haven't seen any. So my concerns, the process, undemocratic. I object to the development at number 7 Knightswood. I have no idea what the revisions are that you just talked about. I've been, I'm grateful that Leanne, who is so eloquent and very astute, understands it. It's really shameful, the process. There's quite a few neighbor objections. There may have been more, I don't know, because I haven't been able to get out of my house. I also want to put on notice that earlier there was number 6 Knightswood. There was a request for an adjustment. The few neighbors that did get together were overwhelmed with the request for number 7 that we just, in my experience, said, we're not even going to deal with number 6 right now because there's not enough time. Oh, look, there you've got video. Well, friggin', you can figure that out. Couldn't you have done that sooner? Anyway, so we just prioritized on number 7. I've seen number 6 got the capacity for number 6.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll go. If we have no further speakers on this application, I'll go back to to the agent, Mr. Bronskill. Are you there?
I am, Mr. Chair. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. You have the opportunity to address the concerns raised by the previous speakers.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can't speak to the process in COVID and someone not being in their home during the pandemic and being outside the city or in another country. I mean, I've been here during the pandemic, and there's not much that we can do about that. I can't, and I guess it would be great if everybody in the city, in terms of equality, would have the opportunity to be somewhere other than their own home. But that being said, Mr. Chair, The revised package was in fact couriered, not snail mailed, to the last speaker. So they are fully, I hope, aware of the revisions. The most immediate neighbors did get a courier package of the revisions that have been identified here today, in an ongoing effort of our client to do its best during this process for a consultation. I would note, in terms of environmental concerns, Mr. Chair, there is a positive letter on file from the TRCA. So these matters have been canvassed with the TRCA. I would note that in terms of some aspects of the previous proposal, such as length, the above grade structure is actually shorter, Mr. Chair. And in terms of presentation to the street, I would just note that it is largely in line with the front yard setback. It is entirely in line with the previous approval. And in terms of height, Mr. Chair, the variances I would just note to the committee is to the old bylaw in terms of height, 7652. There is no height variance being sought in terms of the new bylaw 569/2013. And the second last page in the package provided to you notes how the roof structure, in fact, is entirely under the new height permission in 569/2013. So I would just respectfully submit to the committee that the house is in fact designed to present to the street as 569/2013 would intend it, in terms of its height, in terms of its front yard setback, etc. So we think the process in fact has been as best as it possibly can be under these challenging times. We thank planning staff for working it through with our client, and we hope that the work of planning staff can be supported by the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair, unless you have any, or members of the panel have any questions for me.
I will ask Mr. Bronskill. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Okay, if I could get a motion on this revised application, I'll just go through the changes that have been made so we're clear. Variance number 3, which relates to the proposed west side yard setback. That variance has been deleted. Variance number 4, which currently reads the proposed lot coverage is 43.78% of the lot area. That is being changed so that the lot coverage will be 33.65%. Variance number 6, the proposed building length is 35.04 meters. That has been revised to read 28.44 meters. Variance number 7, the proposed building depth is 33.87 meters. That figure has been changed to 27.26 meters. And variances number 8, which relates to the proposed platform encroachment, and variance number 9, which relates to the proposed width of the stairs. Both variances 8 and 9 are being deleted. So that's the revised application we will be making a motion on. Committee, if I could get a motion on this revised application, please. Okay.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're back. Yes, Ms. Sankin.
If I could make a motion, and I know you've gone through quite a bit and we've heard quite a bit. And normally I don't do this. I don't believe in taking us backwards with an application. But what I did hear from the agents, the neighbors today, is they felt they didn't have fair judicial process. And for reasons of fairness, I'd like to put forward a deferral of this application, sine die, to allow this applicant to work further with the neighbors. And also, I'm still not convinced about the TRCA bits of variances number 6 and 7. Even though reduced, it still there is a report that talks about that needing to be eliminated, and I didn't see that here. And I think that this application needs further work with TRCA as well as the neighbors. So that's my motion.
Ms. Sankar, there was a report from TRCA that had no objections to this application, and that was on the 10th of November. I'm advised by the deputies, and I'm advised that in terms of a deferral, I think we have a motion before us. It's either approve it or refuse it. It's been around for a while, so it's either if you don't fit, if the committee doesn't.
Okay.
So let's just make a motion.
Then I withdraw my motion, and I will allow someone else to make a motion.
Okay, so if you want to make another motion, Ms. Sankar?
Mr. Chair, there is a motion for deferral on the floor, so we should vote on that motion.
Do you want to vote? I'm sorry.
She made a motion to defer, so we need to vote on that motion.
Okay, we'll vote on that. Okay, Ms. Sankar, we have a motion from Ms. Sankar to defer the application. Can I have someone to second that motion? That motion doesn't carry. Can I get another motion? And it's Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would you like me to repeat all these changes that have been announced by you, or should I move to the next step? Staff recommendations.
I'm sorry, Mr. Khan, can you repeat that?
Mr. Chair, we know what the changes are, so if you're going to make the motion, just say as amended. We know what the changes are.
We know what the changes are, Mr. Khan. We don't need to hear them again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the guidance. Staff has already recommended that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the east side yard setback and building length, which includes the rear ground floor deck as seen on the site plan drawings attached to this report. So that's the condition I have, and I will move for approval.
And you'd like it, there's also urban forestry conditions.
Sir, if that is the condition, it will be included, yes.
Okay. Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion?
Second.
Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. Sir, Mr. Bronskill, your revised application has been approved.
Mr. Chairman, we need to know who was opposed, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Sankar, you're opposed. I'm sorry. My apologies. Ms. Sankar dissenting. That application carries with Ms. Sankar dissenting, and the Mr. Bronskill, your application has been approved subject to urban forestry and city planning conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Go to item number 15, 1364 Wilson Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That's a Cynthia Gibson. That is the agent. Madam, are you there?
It's actually myself. It's Jason Heater. That's the registered agent for the owners at 1364.
Okay, thank you. So we have two, we have no persons registered to speak on this item. I noticed that there is a comment from Transportation Services. They were recommending that your application be deferred so that you can revise the site plan and provide justification for the parking shortfall. Have you had the opportunity to discuss this with Transportation Services? Have you seen that report?
I have seen the comment, and yeah, unfortunately, there's not very much that can be discussed. Thus, the request for the parking variance, unfortunately.
So you're not going to, so are you requesting a deferral?
We would look to move forward with this application at this time if we could, because there's really not much additional information that we can provide to them. It's a bit of a technical, the variances are quite technical in nature for this property.
Okay, can I ask you, sir, how long has this, is this garage currently habitable space?
It was at one point, there was an issue, there was an issue with the building department. It has since been converted back to just a garage at this point.
Okay, because there's two windows in the garage door.
Correct. Yeah,
And
it's my
it looks
understanding
like
that
it's been
those, it's my understanding that that it is now a usable garage.
It's, okay, all right, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the applicant, or would they like a presentation? We have two variances before us, one for a parking supply and the one for FSI. Would the committee like a presentation? There being none, we have no speakers registered for this application, so if I could get a motion, please. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir. Variance number 2, I mean, has been recommended by the transport services for deferral of this application. And also there is no compliance from the forestry department and no input from the staff. So I understand that this semi-detached house converting garage into a habitable space with floor space index as 1.09 lot area exceeds the allowable maximum. This is undue impact on the density character of the neighborhood. Also, variance number 2, parking spaces are 0, and transportation service has not recommended anything or commented on this site. The variants are, in my opinion, are not minor, do not comply with the 4 tests. Therefore, the application be refused.
Mr. Khan, you're recommending refusal?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, now, we haven't given, if that's the case, we haven't given the applicant the opportunity, we haven't given the applicant opportunity to speak, but we're refusing his application. So I think you're going to have to put that motion on hold until we let the applicant speak to that particular issue.
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, he should be given a chance to speak here.
Yeah, I'll give him a chance to speak. The agent, are you there, sir?
I am here, yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, so you've heard that Mr. Khan has an issue with your variances, specifically the FSI and the parking shortfall. So if you could give the committee a presentation on why you think we should approve your application.
Yes, I can. I had prepared a quick little PowerPoint presentation. With respect to the FSI, this is actually an existing condition. We are not adding to this building. The conversion of the existing garage into an additional habitable unit now forces us to include that garage area in the FSI calculation, thus the overage. So it's really a legal condition as it stands. There are no additions to the building, but the conversion requires us to add in that additional square footage into the home, thus the overage. With respect to the parking, again, it's rather technical in nature. There are 3 parking spaces provided at the home, legal parking spaces provided at the home. Given that there would be now an additional small bachelor unit, the house will be or is classified by the zoning definition now as an apartment. Thus, the requirement for the 4 spaces either within the building or underground, which is not available to us, either of those. So really what we're looking to sort of legalize are 3 existing parking spaces that are in the front yard and 1 additional space that is unavailable to us. But given the nature of the home and the renters in the unit, many of which take public transportation, it's not likely that that additional parking space is even required whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
So again, just to wrap up, there are currently 3 parking spaces legal. Some would argue 4, but the stairs sort of encroach. There are 3 parking spaces that are legal for the house. Given that it is the fourth unit is being added to that garage. That's what classifies us now as an apartment versus just a triplex. And the existing garage is being added into the GFA calculation. There are no additions to this property whatsoever.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just to be clear, though, that this particular garage unit, has been in existence previously for quite some time. Am I correct?
It was in existence previously. Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I accept the explanations provided here by the agent today. I think it's acceptable and it makes sense to me. And so for that reason, I'm going to motion to approve this application. I'm going to subject it to forestry. That's my motion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Kidd
Hunt
seconds.
seconds.
All Mr. Hunt's in favor. All those in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan dissenting. Sir, your application has been approved subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Item number 16, 6 Bitterroot Road. I have one person registered to speak. That's Lucas Cocamello. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, sir, have you had there's a number of reports here. I just wanted to ask if you've had the opportunity to read them. There's one from City Planning, which is dated the 11th of November, and they have no objection provided that the proposal is developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing and building section drawings submitted to the committee. And there's another report from Transportation Service dated the 9th of November. They have no objection provided that the applicant revises the drawings to indicate a straight driveway on the public right-of-way without a flaring. Have you had the opportunity to read those two reports, sir?
Yes, we've read both of them, and we have no problem adjusting the driveway to what transportation is noted.
Okay, thank you.
And
Well, I
complying
also
with
note
what
that
planning
there's a report from Toronto Region Conservation Authority dated the 4th of November, but they also have no objection. It's very clear I think the committee's very clear in what you're asking for in the variances. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the requested variances are minor in nature and appropriate for the property. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application, subject to the condition that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing and building section drawing submitted to the Committee of Adjustment. Date stamped as received on November 4th, 2020, and attached as attachments 1 and 2 to this report. Also subject to the transportation requirement that the applicant revise the drawings to indicate a straight driveway on the public right-of-way without the flare, and also finally subject to forestry conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second Mr. Kidd's motion?
Hunt seconds.
Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application's been unanimously approved subject to urban forestry, transportation services, and city planning conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 17, 522 Fairlawn Avenue. I have one person registered to speak, Mr. Paul Guest, the agent. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, sir. It's very clear what you're asking for here. You have one variance before us regarding a proposed rear deck projection. I notice the only comments we have from city staff are from city forestry. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. There being none, if I could get a motion on the application, please. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir. It's a minor variation before us, and I will move that this application be approved, subject to the forestry conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor?
Hunt in favor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunt. That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry conditions.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Item number 18, 364 Hillsdale Avenue East. I have one person registered to speak. That's an Eddie Perez. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Chairman, committee members. I'm here.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. I just wanted to, you've got two variances before us. It's pretty clear what you're asking for. We have no comments from staff or any recommended conditions. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments. There being none, if I could get a motion on the application, please. Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I feel the proposed variances are minor in nature, and I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd. Someone to second Mr. Kidd's motion? Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? Mr. Hunter, you in favor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That motion carries unanimously. Mr. Perez, your application's been unanimously approved without condition.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too, sir.
Bye.
Item number 19, 232 GOLFDALE Road. I have one person registered to speak. That is Graham Powley Jewett. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's pretty clear what you're asking for. It's just the one variance before us, and I believe it's just for floor space index. And there are no staff comments or conditions attached to it. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments. There being none, if I could get a motion on the application, please. Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I think this is really simple in nature. I do believe it meets the four tests. I'll motion to approve this application as is.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second that motion?
Hunt seconds.
Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? The motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application is unanimously approved without condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And we are adjourned till 1:30, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.